Hi everyone, this is Michael Aspiotis. Welcome back to my channel where I talk about practical spirituality. In today's video, I'm going to answer the question, how can I feel so depressed when I have everything, or at least appear to have everything? And what can I do about that? My own experience with this is that my very worst period of depression was when I was in high school. And at the time, I had everything. I had a wonderful family. I was living in a beautiful home with everything I needed without being too spoiled. And there was no practical explanation for why I felt so sad, so disconnected, so underwater. And so I never asked for help. I think my parents kind of felt something was wrong but didn't know what to do about it. And it didn't really come into sharp focus until I was failing high school. I couldn't get good grades. And that was a huge problem because, of course, you have to get good grades to get into a good college, to get a good job, so you don't end up living in your parents' basement if they would let you do that. Mine, thankfully, would not have let me do that. So it was a big issue. And because there was no practical reason for me to be so depressed, that really wasn't the angle we went at it. My parents sat down with me. We looked for a practical solution, like how do we get you feeling better at school and getting better grades so you can succeed. So we decided together that a change of schools would be great, and I got to go to a very nice boarding school. And having the opportunity to redo my junior year was a big relief. It didn't solve my depression, at least the root causes of it, but it was at least a little bit of relief. And it wasn't until later that I really was able to get to the root cause of it. At the time, though, one of the big difficulties, or was a barrier really, to finding a solution was just that it didn't make any sense. Like, well, how can you feel so sad and everything when you have everything? So I can imagine that as an adult, this can be much more intense, because if you've been living your whole life succeeding at every level and achieving whatever goals you set out for yourself, to have lots of money and achievements and getting lots of nice stuff and all these things that society uses to define success, and we achieve a lot of it or even all of it, and then we look around and none of it is making any sense, because we have all these things and we still feel the sadness, the disconnection, and the depression. And we may also look around at people much less fortunate than us, which was also the case for me, where I saw, okay, well, there's people in the world that have it so much worse off. They have the right to be sad and depressed, but here I am I've got it pretty good, so I don't have the right to feel this way. This suffering can't be real. It's not valid. And so that's really probably the very first thing to look at, is that if we don't validate what we're feeling and let it be okay, then it becomes really difficult to process those feelings and to resolve them. So the first thing to understand with that is that suffering is suffering, and it's not comparable. Like, certainly there's people out in the world who are in super dire circumstances. And if I'm sitting here in my yacht, for instance, with a whole crew and billions of dollars stashed different places, that doesn't mean that I still can't have my feelings and that they're not valid. The suffering between that person and the person starving in the street, it's a different sort of suffering. It's suffering nonetheless, and they're not, one isn't better or worse or more valid than the other. So the first thing to do really is to give ourselves permission to feel what we're feeling and let it be okay, even if it seems like we have everything. So the second part of this equation is really giving a big look at our definitions of success, and also what is it that we thought that we would be getting when we achieve certain things. Because when we set out for in our lives to accomplish certain goals, we think, okay, well, on some level, we think, okay, when I achieve these things, they're going to make me feel a certain way. I'm going to feel contentment. I'm going to feel peace. I'm going to feel happiness, whatever it is. And it can be a problem when it's almost a worse problem if we achieve all those things, and then we may have worked really hard and put so much energy into it, and so much so that all this energy has been funneled into achieving the goals that we didn't have time to really even feel what we're feeling. And then we've achieved it. It's like, okay. And then there's no peace, there's no contentment. And that can lead to a really deep, difficult sense of hopelessness. It's like, okay, I did all this to achieve this, and then I still feel this. So that's really important, to look at what it was that we thought we were going to get by achieving certain things, and to look at exactly how we're defining success. So typical in Western society, at least, we define success with money, with stuff, and with accomplishments. Those are sort of the typical things. And those don't have the power or ability to make us feel any particular way. Like, having lots of money, it doesn't make us happy. Having accomplishments isn't going to make us feel loved. Having lots of stuff isn't going to make us feel connected. And that's really what we want on a really deep level, is we want to feel connected, we want certainty, we want purpose. So that's why it's important to bring those definitions of success into our awareness, and we can look at those and see, well, do they fit? And is that how I want to define success? And I can actually define it any way I want. And I can decide it's different than what my parents say it is. I can decide it's different than what my peers say. I can say it's different than what society says. So my definition of success is just being myself as truthfully, as fully as possible, moment to moment. It's bringing my greatest gifts into the world joyfully, and to be open to receive the gratitude and abundance in exchange for my contribution to the world. And so for me, that's all about alignment. It's all about purpose. It's all about certainty. It's all about peace and contentment and all those beautiful things. And so that's what my coaching is about. And it's not about achieving some plateau, because we're infinite beings and there's always something we can let go of, and always something new to discover about ourselves and something new to expand into. It's really about understanding ourselves better, understanding our connection with existence better, and grounding ourselves in a process where we become active participants in creating our own experience. We have a process, we're able to let go of the things that are no longer serving us and expand more and more into our truth. And then our lives begin to feel and look more like our true selves. Our lives feel more aligned, more purposeful, and we can live with more certainty and more gratitude and more joy. So thank you all for watching. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel. I'd appreciate it. Have a great day. Thank you.